An animated urban fantasy adventure film produced by Pixar Animation Studios for Walt Disney Pictures, and starring the voices of Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Octavia Spencer. Directed by Dan Scanlon, produced by Corey Ray, and written by Scanlon, Jason Headley, and Keith Boonen. Be the film, set in a suburban fantasy world for the modern day, follows two elf brothers named Ian and Barley Lightfoot, Holland and Pratt, respectively, who set out on a quest to find an artifact that will temporarily revive their deceased father, Wilden, Kyle Bornheimer, for 24 hours. After directing Monsters University, 2013, Scanlon was encouraged to develop personal stories. The concept of Onward is inspired by the death of Scanlon's father, who died in a car accident when Scanlon and his older brother were very young children, and their relationship with each other. He began to write the story after hearing an audio clip of his father. The film was announced at D23 Expo in July 2017, with the title being revealed in December 2018, alongside the voice cast. The animation team chose to give the film's magic a unique style after studying several animated films featuring magic in order to fit with its suburban setting. Development on Onward lasted for 6 years, on an approximate between $175 to $200 million budget. Composers Mikkel and Jeff Dano were hired to compose the film's musical score, with Brandi Carlile contributing an original song for the film. Onward premiered at the 70th Berlin International Film Festival on February 21, 2020, and was theatrically released in the United States on March 6, 2020. The film received generally positive reviews from critics, but underperformed at the box office, grossing $141 million worldwide against its between $175 to $200 million budget. The COVID-19 pandemic contributed to its financial shortcomings, due to the widespread closure of theaters. Like several other films released in the early months of 2020, it found far greater success on VOD. The film was nominated for Best Animated Feature Film at the 78th Golden Globe Awards and 93rd Academy Awards. Onward was the last Pixar film released in theaters worldwide until Lightyear in June 2022. Plot: long ago, in a world inhabited by mythical creatures, magic was commonplace, although it was difficult to master. As technology progressed over the centuries, magic became obsolete and eventually fell out of use. In the modern day, Ian Lightfoot is a teenage elf struggling with self-confidence. His older brother Barley is an enthusiastic and impulsive role-playing gamer. Their father Wilden died shortly before Ian's birth, and their mother Laurel has a new boyfriend, Centaur police officer Colt Bronco, whom the brothers dislike. On Ian's 16th birthday, Laurel gives the boys a gift from Wilden, a magical staff, a rare phoenix gem, and a letter describing a visitation spell that can resurrect Wilden for one day. Ian succeeds in casting the spell but is interrupted by Barley before completing it. Consequently, only the lower half of Wilden's body reforms before the gem disintegrates. The brothers embark on a quest to acquire another gem and finish the spell before sunset, taking Barley's beloved Van Guinevere. Laurel discovers the boys have gone missing and sets out after them. Seeking a map to the gem, the brothers visit the Manticore's tavern with Wilden in tow. The tavern, once a gathering place for would-be adventurers, is now a family restaurant managed by the Manticore, Corey. During an argument with Ian over the map, Corey realizes how mundane her life has become and drives out her customers in a fit of rage, accidentally setting fire to the map and the restaurant. The only remaining clue to the gem's location is a children's menu suggesting Raven's Point, a nearby mountain. Soon after the boys leave, Laurel arrives and befriends Corey. Corey warns her that the brothers' journey may awaken a curse that can only be defeated by her special sword, which the women steal from a pawn shop. Ian, Barley, and Wilden travel to the mountains, narrowly escaping encounters with the police and a motorcycle gang of sprites. Officer Bronco catches up to the group and orders them to return home. Ian appears to comply but unexpectedly drives away, leading to a wild police chase. Barley sacrifices Guinevere to cause a landslide, blocking their pursuers. Raven's Point is revealed to be a series of raven statues leading down into a cave. While exploring, Barley confesses that he was too afraid to say goodbye to Wilden on his deathbed. The party make their way through the cave, evading a series of increasingly dangerous traps, and emerge on the other side, only to find themselves back in town in front of Ian's high school. Believing their quest has been in vain, Ian lashes out at Barley and calls him a screw-up before leaving with Wilden. As the sun begins to set, Ian sadly reviews his list of things he always wanted to do with his father and realizes that Barley has been a father figure to him throughout his life. Meanwhile, Barley discovers the gem inside a historic fountain and retrieves it, unknowingly triggering the curse. Pieces of the high school and other nearby objects combine to form a dragon-shaped golem, intent on retrieving the gem. Corey flies in with Laurel, who drives the magic sword into the dragon's heart, giving Ian enough time to recast the visitation spell. As Wilden's upper body regenerates, Barley volunteers to distract the dragon so Ian can meet their father. Instead, Ian sends Barley ahead, acknowledging the role his brother played in his upbringing. With help from Laurel, Ian manages to fight off the dragon and destroy it, granting Barley the opportunity to find closure with their father. After Wilden dissipates, Barley tells Ian that their father is proud of him, and the brothers share a hug. Sometime later, Ian's confidence and spellcasting abilities have improved. As the world begins to rediscover magic, Ian and Barley set off on a new quest together. Voice cast: Tom Holland as Ian Lightfoot 5'6", a teenager elf who longs for his deceased father. Chris Pratt as Barley Lightfoot 5'6", Ian's older brother, who longs for a magical quest. Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Laurel Lightfoot 5'6'7", the widowed mother of Ian and Barley. Octavia Spencer as Corey the Manticore 8'9", a manticore who is the proprietor of the Manticore's Tavern. Kyle Bornheimer as Wilden Lightfoot, Ian and Barley's late father. Ian and Barley's objective is to resurrect him for 24 hours. 10. Mel Rodriguez as Colt Bronco, a Centaur police officer and Laurel's boyfriend. 11. Lena Waithe as Spectre, a Cyclops police officer. 11-12. Ali Wong as Gore, a Fawn police officer. 11. Gray Griffin as Dewdrop, a pixie, and the leader of the Pixie Dusters biker gang. Tracy Ullman as Grecklin, a goblin pawn shop owner. 10. Wilmer Valderrama as Gaxton, an elf, and college friend of Wilden. 10. George Saris as Abel, an elf police officer. 10. John Ratzenberger as Fenwick, a Cyclops construction worker. 10. This was Ratzenberger's final role in a Pixar feature film until Inside Out 2, 2024, having voiced a character in every prior feature film. Production. Development. While directing Monsters University, 2013, Dan Scanlon was encouraged to develop personal stories. He did not talk to his brother about the film, because he wanted to keep him in the dark as these movies take so long to make. 13. In July 2017, then studio head of Pixar John Lasseter announced that a suburban fantasy world film at the D23 Expo was in development, with Scanlon directing and Corey Ray producing. 14. The film was inspired by the death of Scanlon's father, when he was just a year old and his older brother only 3, and their relationship with each other. They had seen home videos about their father, but there was no audio. Scanlon became inspired to write the story after a family member found an old cassette with his father's voice on it. He listened to it along with his brother and mother, and at the very end just 2 words from the father could be heard, "Hi and goodbye," which Scanlon described as magical. 15/16. On December 12, 2018, the title was revealed. 17. In 2019, Jason Headley and Keith Boonen were hired to rewrite the screenplay and story. According to Scanlon, Onward spent 6 years in development. 13. Casting. On December 12, 2018, Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Octavia Spencer were announced as starring in the film. 18. While having recorded most of their lines separately, Holland and Pratt had some of their recording sessions together since, according to Scanlon, they've worked together before and hung out together. 19. Ray stated that Holland and Pratt improvised some of their lines while recording together. 20 On December 17, 2019, Ali Wong, Lena Waithe and Mel Rodriguez joined the cast of the film. 11 On February 18, 2020, Wilmer Valderrama, Tracy Ullman, Kyle Bornheimer, and George Saris were revealed to have voice roles as well, and John Ratzenberger's appearance was officially confirmed. 10. Deleted scene. One storyboard scene featured Ian, Barley, and Wilden joining with the Goat Girl in the journey. Ian and the Goat Girl come across a booth hosted by 3 evil mermaids. The mermaids sing their mesmerizing song to lure the two into staying in one of 3 houses put for rent. Ian tries to silence them with the staff, but the spell is too weak. When Ian and the Goat Girl are finally in a trance, the mermaids place them in one of the houses. The house they are in starts to sink into the ground. The Goat Girl was omitted because the filmmakers wanted the film to focus on the relationship between Ian and Barley. The scene itself was removed because the filmmakers felt it was too grim. 21-22. Animation. According to effects supervisor Vincent Saratella, the animators wanted the spells to be something that's abstract but also personify it, so they had to converge on the idea of an image of magic, go back to the base level of the sequences and the spells, and what level of complexity would be given, and how it affects the environment. 23 Director Dan Scanlon said that Ian's arc was helpful to the animators because they could use that for all of the magic we designed. 23 The animators chose to give the film's magic a unique style after studying several animated films featuring magic such as Fantasia, Aladdin, and Hercules. 23 Animators wanted the film's magic to fit with its suburban setting. 23 Animators first developed the film's magic using hand-drawn animated drawings, before turning them into computer-animated effects, with Saratella saying that they made shapes and graphic elements that really lend themselves to what's happening in a 2D environment. 23 Saratella also said that the key was mixing hand-drawn and computer animation, arguing that going one way or the other didn't work. Going too graphic didn't fit into the world that the background and the characters were created in. And going too physical in an animated world seemed too real, so they found the right balance by turning hand-drawn animated graphics into light objects and giving them a true volume trick, glowing atmosphere. 23 He further added that the choreography during the visitation spell sequence came directly from 2D, while the CGI animation and lighting provided depth perception. 23 The film was completed on November 21, 2019. 24. Music. Main article, Onward, soundtrack. On April 16, 2019, Mikkel and Jeff Dana, who both previously worked with the studio on The Good Dinosaur, 2015, were revealed to be the film's composers. 25 On February 12, 2020, Brandi Carlile revealed she recorded the song Carried Me With You for the film's end credits, co-written with Phil and Tim Hansaroth. 26 The film's soundtrack was released on February 28, 2020, 7 days ahead of the film's release. 26. Marketing. In the month of the release of the film, the world builder video game Disney Magic Kingdoms included a limited-time Onward event to promote it, with the characters involved in a new storyline unrelated to the events of the film, including Ian, Barley, Wilden, referred to as Dad, Laurel, the Manticore, Officer Colt, and Blazy as playable characters, in addition to some attractions based on locations of the film. 27. Release. Theatrical. Onward premiered at the 70th Berlin International Film Festival on February 21, 2020-28 and was theatrically released in the United States on March 6. 5. A short film titled Playdate with Destiny, which is centered around Maggie Simpson from The Simpsons, appeared before the feature film. 29:30 As the COVID-19 pandemic appeared to recede, the film was released in Australia and New Zealand on April 24, 2020, South Korea on June 17, 2020, Italy on August 19, 2020, and Japan on August 21, 2020. Citation needed. The movie was also released in 3D, 2D, Dolby Cinema, 4DX, and ScreenX worldwide and in IMAX and Dolby Atmos in selected theaters. 31. Ban and censorship. The film was banned in the Arab countries of Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, as one female Cyclops police officer character in the film named Spectre, voiced by Lena Waithe, briefly indicates that she is a lesbian. The scene in question is a brief scene in which a simulacrum of Colt Bronco is lamenting about how Ian and Barley Lightfoot do not respect him as a father figure. Spectre replies to him by saying, "It's not easy being a new parent, my girlfriend's daughter got me pulling my hair out, okay." 32, 33, 34. Homosexual acts are criminalized in the four countries, which are predominantly Muslim, although Kuwait does not criminalize female homosexual acts. The film was screened in Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Lebanon, and Egypt, albeit the line was changed in the Arabic dub to My Sister's Daughter. 35. The Russian dub, due to the Russian gay propaganda law officially criminalizing the dissemination of LGBT-related content to minors under 18, changed the line to My Partner's Daughter. The Russian dub also avoided referring to Spectre with gender-specific pronouns. 32, 33, 34. The scene was also changed similarly in Poland 36, 37 and Hungary. 38. Home media. Onward was released digitally on March 20, 2020, and became available to Disney Plus subscribers on April 3, 2020, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. 39. The digital release came just 2 weeks after the film's theatrical debut and prior to the standard 90-day theatrical window. The announcement followed Disney's early digital releases of Frozen 2 on Disney Plus and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker on digital HD due to the pandemic. 40. The film was later released on DVD, Blu-ray, and Ultra HD Blu-ray by Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment on May 19, 2020. 41, 42. In the United States, Onward ranked number 1 on iTunes and number 8 on Amazon among all rental offerings as of March 22. By March 26, it was the 6th most watched film on Amazon Prime and the 2nd most watched on iTunes. 43. The film placed 9th on the Watched at Home chart for the week ending June 6, which tracks U.S. digital sales, rentals, and disc sales, according to the Digital Entertainment Group. 44. It also ranked 3rd on the U.S. combined DVD and Blu-ray sales chart for June 2020, up from 4th place in May, following its May 19 home media release, according to the NPD Videoscan First Alert chart. 45. In the United Kingdom, Onward claimed the top spot on the official film chart for the week ending October 21. It overtook Warner Bros.' Scoob, which had been at the top for 4 consecutive weeks. 46. It maintained its position at number 1 for the week ending October 28, driven largely by strong DVD and Blu-ray disc sales, which accounted for 90% of its sales. Onward finished ahead of Frozen 2. 47. Nielsen Media Research, which records streaming viewership on U.S. television screens, reported that Onward was the 4th most streamed film of 2020, with 8.3 billion minutes viewed. 48-49. Reception. Box office. Onward grossed $61.6 million in the United States and Canada, and $80.4 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $142 million. The gross of the film was significantly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which first reduced movie theater attendance, then forced most to shut down within 2 weeks of the film's release. 50-51-52. In the United States and Canada, the film was released alongside The Way Back and the wide expansion of Emma, and was projected to gross $45 to $50 million from 4,200 theaters in its opening weekend. 53. The film held early advance screenings on February 29, making $650,000 from 470 theaters. 54. It then grossed $12.1 million on its first day, the 6th, including $2 million from Thursday night previews. The film went on to debut to $39.1 million, topping the box office but marking the third ever lowest start for a Pixar film. 55-56. While the film remained in first in its second weekend, it dropped 73% to $10.5 million, the lowest ever second weekend for a Pixar film, and was part of the lowest grossing box office weekend since October 1998, with all films combining for just $55.3 million. 57. In the film's third weekend, due to the mass theater closures around the country, it made $71,000 from 135 locations, mostly drive-in theaters. 58. Critical response. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 89% based on 348 reviews, with an average rating of 7.2/10. The website's critics' consensus reads, "It may suffer in comparison to Pixar's classics, but Onward makes effective use of the studio's formula, and stands on its own merits as a funny, heartwarming, dazzlingly animated adventure." 59. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 61 out of 100, based on 56 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 60 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A+ to F scale, and Post-Track reported filmgoers gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. 55. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian rated the film 3 out of 5 stars, and called it a likable family comedy that finds an easy rhythm without effort, though he felt that the movie's attitude towards death is not as radically powerful as in Coco. 61. In a same-star review, Peter Travers of Rolling Stone said it's no Toy Story but the animation juggernaut's latest, about two elf brothers on a quest, is still worth your while. 62. Reviewer James Berardinelli praised the film's originality and emotional weight and called it engaging and enjoyable, adding there's something here for everyone, though concluded it is not the next Disney/Pixar classic. 63. Ben Travis of Empire gave the film 5 out of 5 stars, and wrote, "Pixar returns with a great big power chord of a movie, heart-pumping, resonant, and positively harmonious." 64. Richard Roper of the Chicago Sun-Times called Onward a step back for Pixar, giving it 2 out of 4 stars. He said, "The story fluctuates between the uninspired and the just plain weird and then gets even weirder." While he praised the animation and said that the movie begins with an intriguing premise, he concluded that it doesn't come close to fully fleshing out the possibilities. Thomas Stanley Holland, born June 1, 1996, is an English actor. He is the recipient of numerous accolades, including a BAFTA Award and 3 Saturn Awards. Holland's leading films have grossed over $9.9 billion worldwide, making him one of the highest-grossing film actors of all time. He was featured on the Forbes 30 Under 30 Europe list of 2019. Holland's career began at the age of 9 when he enrolled in a dancing class. A choreographer noticed him and arranged for him to audition for a role in Billy Elliot the Musical at London's Victoria Palace Theatre. After 2 years of training, he secured a supporting part in 2008. Later that year, he was upgraded to the title role, which he played until 2010. Holland made his film debut in the disaster drama The Impossible, 2012, as a teenage tourist trapped in a tsunami. He received critical acclaim and a nomination for the Goya Award for Best New Actor. Holland then decided to pursue acting as a full-time career, appearing in How I Live Now, 2013, and playing historical figures in the film In the Heart of the Sea, 2015, and the TV miniseries Wolf Hall, 2015. Holland achieved international recognition playing Peter Parker/Spider-Man in 6 Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, superhero films, beginning with Captain America, Civil War, 2016. The following year, Holland received the BAFTA Rising Star Award and became the youngest actor to play a title role in an MCU film in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Its sequels, Far From Home, 2019, and No Way Home, 2021, each grossed more than $1 billion worldwide, the latter became the highest-grossing film of the year. Holland played another action film role in Uncharted, 2022, and also expanded to play against-type roles in the crime dramas The Devil All the Time, 2020, and Cherry, 2021. Holland has additionally directed the short film Tweet, 2015, and voiced roles in animated features, including Spies in Disguise, 2019, and Onward, 2020. Early life and education. A picture of a two-story building with two freestanding masonry piers on front. The Brit School for Performing Arts and Technology in Selhurst in South London, which Holland attended. Thomas Stanley Holland was born on June 1, 1996 in Kingston upon Thames, in southwest London, to photographer Nicola, née Frost, and comedian-author Dominic Holland. 6. He has 3 younger brothers. 7. His paternal grandmother was Irish from County Tipperary of Southern Ireland and his paternal grandfather was Manx from the Isle of Man. 8, 9, 10. He lives in Kingston upon Thames, near the house of his parents and younger brothers. 11. As his parents have creative professions, he is often inspired by them. 12. He considers his father a role model who has unofficially worked as his manager due to his experience in the industry. 13, 14. Holland was educated at Donhead Preparatory School, an all-male Catholic preparatory school in Wimbledon, in the Merton Borough of southwest London. 15. When he was 7, he was diagnosed with dyslexia. His parents sent him and his brothers, to avoid making them feel neglected, to a private school so he could get the necessary attention. Although Holland liked the new school, this started to drain his family's finances. 16, 17. Holland attended Wimbledon College, a voluntary-aided Jesuit comprehensive school. 18. Followed by the Brit School for Performing Arts and Technology in the Selhurst area of Croydon. 19. Growing up, Holland considered several career choices. As a child, he was a fan of Janet Jackson's songs, and often danced to them. His mother signed him up for a dancing class advertised in the private school Holland was visiting at the time. 16, 17. In his teens, Holland briefly attended carpentry school in Cardiff, Wales. 20. He also considered becoming a primary school teacher, as he enjoys being around children. 14. Career. 2006 to 2015, early stage work and film debut. 3 young boys are performing cheerfully. Holland, center, performing at the 5th anniversary of Billy Elliot the Musical at the Victoria Palace Theatre in 2010. At age 9, Holland began dancing at a hip-hop class at Nifty Feet Dance School in Wimbledon, where he performed with his school group at the 2006 Richmond Dance Festival. There, he was spotted by choreographer Lynn Page, an associate to Peter Darling, choreographer of Billy Elliot the Musical. Page arranged an audition for Holland, where the musical's director Stephen Daldry thought that he had great potential and was a very natural actor. 21. After 2 years of training in ballet, tap dancing and acrobatics. 13. Holland won the role of Michael Caffrey, the protagonist's best friend, and made his debut performance at the West End's Victoria Palace Theatre in June 2008. 22. During his time performing in the musical, Holland learned gymnastics. 23. Holland says when his peers at school found out about his dancing activities, they started bullying him. 17. Later in 2008, Holland and co-star Tanner Pflugger were promoted to the lead role in the musical. 24. On his first day playing Elliot, Holland developed tonsillitis but performed on stage anyway to positive reviews. He went to the doctor the next day. 1. Following his stage success, Holland hoped to be popular in school and that his schoolmates would stop bullying him. After being in a professional environment, he matured earlier than his peers and struggled to fit in. As a result, his GCSE grades suffered. 17. After his work on Billy Elliot the Musical finished in 2010. 25. Holland voiced a role in the British dub of the Japanese animated fantasy film Arrietty, 2011, 26 and sent an audition tape to Juan Antonio Bayona for a part in The Impossible, 2012. Bayona then arranged a meeting, and had Holland write a letter to his mother and recite it as an audition. Impressed with his emotional delivery, Bayona cast Holland in the film. 27. In The Impossible, Holland played a teenager trapped with his family in the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. Transitioning from stage to screen was initially hard for Holland due to the shift from live audience to camera. 28. He and co-star Naomi Watts filmed physically and psychologically taxing scenes in a 35,000-gallon water tank. 29. Working with Watts made Holland realize that he wanted to pursue an acting career permanently. 30. The Impossible premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in September to critical and commercial success. 31. Earning $180.3 million against a budget of $45 million. 32. Holland received critical praise for his performance. 28. A.O. Scott of the New York Times found Holland to be a terrific young actor, praising his character's transition from self-involvement to responsibility. 33. He won several awards, including the National Board of Review Award for Breakthrough Performance and London Film Critics Circle Award for Young British Performer of the Year. 34. 35. Holland featured in the drama film How I Live Now, 2013, 36. Lent his voice in a supporting role for the drama film Locke, 2013, 37, and had a cameo in Billy Elliot the Musical Live, 2014. 38. A round portrait of a young man. A black and white portrait of an old man. Holland portrayed two historical figures in 2015, Gregory Cromwell, top, in the miniseries Wolf Hall, and Thomas Nickerson, bottom, in his teenage years in the film In the Heart of the Sea. Holland appeared in 4 episodes of BBC Two's historical miniseries Wolf Hall, 2015, as Gregory Cromwell, son of the protagonist Thomas Cromwell, played by Mark Rylance. 39. He directed Tweet, 2015, a 3-minute short film about a young man building a birdhouse with his grandfather. 27. Holland later expressed an interest in directing feature films in his 40s. 12. Also in 2015, Holland co-starred as the teenage sailor Thomas Nickerson in Ron Howard's historical adventure drama In the Heart of the Sea. The film is based on the namesake 2000 non-fiction book about the sinking of the American whaling ship Essex in 1820. In preparation, he and co-stars, including Chris Hemsworth, lost significant weight, consuming 500 to 1,000 calories a day. Holland performed most of his stunts in the film. 40. In the Heart of the Sea received mixed reviews from critics, and grossed $93 million against a $100 million budget. 41. 42. Brian Truitt of the USA Today wrote that Holland does a good job. 43. 2015 to 2017, breakthrough as Spider-Man. In June 2015, Holland signed a 6-picture deal with Marvel Studios to play a teenage Peter Parker / Spider-Man. 44. Growing up, Holland was a fan of Spider-Man. He owned 30 costumes and bed sheet covers of the character. 13. He auditioned against 1,500 teenagers worldwide, including English actors Charlie Rowe and Asa Butterfield. 45. 46. While producers Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal were impressed with his performances in The Impossible, Wolf Hall, and In the Heart of the Sea, 44 directors the Russo brothers cited Holland's dancing and gymnastics background as the reasons to cast him. 47. Stan Lee, Spider-Man's creator, said Holland was the exact age and height when he envisioned the character. 17. As part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, he first appeared as Spider-Man in Captain America: Civil War, 2016. 48. The film was a critical and commercial success. 49. Grossing over $1.1 billion worldwide against a budget of $250 million to become the highest grossing film of 2016. 50. 51. In a review for The Guardian, Peter Bradshaw praised Holland and co-star Paul Rudd, who played Ant-Man, as seductively high-spirited and hilarious. 52. And Richard Roper of Chicago Sun-Times wrote that he made a strong first impression as Spider-Man. 53. Holland at the 2016 San Diego Comic-Con promoting Spider-Man: Homecoming. In 2016, Holland co-starred with Joel Kinnaman and Percy Hines-White in the psychological thriller Edge of Winter. It was the first film he did without his parents' knowledge. 54 Frank Scheck of The Hollywood Reporter found Holland and White excellent, describing their terrified reaction as more emotionally wrenching than the tired thriller genre conventions to which the film ultimately succumbs. 55 At the 70th British Academy Film Awards in 2017, Holland won the Rising Star Award. 56 Holland's first work that year was alongside Charlie Hunnam in James Gray's drama The Lost City of Z, which was released to positive reviews. 57 On his last day of filming, he broke his nose after a failed backflip attempt. 58 Holland played the son of Percy Fawcett, Hunnam, an explorer who makes several attempts to find a supposed lost ancient city in the Amazon rainforest. Neil Sowens of the Times of India praised Holland for making the film emotional towards the end, and Rex Reed of the New York Observer found him remarkably strong and self-assured. 59-60 Later in 2017, Holland played Samuel Insel in Alfonso Gomez Rejon's The Current War, which received negative reviews and was a box office failure. 61-62 Clarice Luffrey of The Independent found Holland's role insubstantial. 63. Holland's second film in 2017 was his solo feature as the title character in Spider-Man: Homecoming. As a result, Holland earned an entry in Guinness Book of World Records as the youngest actor to play a title role in the MCU. 64 Though Holland took some inspiration from previous Spider-Man actors Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, he wanted to add some newness in his reinterpretation of the character. 65 Homecoming focused on Parker, as he tries to balance being a high school student and a superhero. 66 To prepare, Holland attended the Bronx High School of Science in the Bronx for a few days. 67 Although other students did not believe he was cast as Spider-Man, Holland felt this situation reflected the film's story, in which other characters are unaware that Parker is Spider-Man. 68 Homecoming and Holland's performance received positive reviews. 69 Peter Travers called it a star performance given by a born actor. 70 Made on a budget of $175 million, the film grossed over $800 million worldwide. 71 Holland's final role in 2017 was in the Irish film Pilgrimage, which premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival. 72 Outside film that year, Holland appeared with Zendaya on Paramount Network's Lip Sync Battle, during which he performed Rihanna's Umbrella in drag. 73 His parents founded the Brothers Trust, a charitable organization, which aims to use his popularity to raise funds for humanitarian causes. 74. 2018 to 2021, commercial success. Holland reprised his role as Spider-Man in Avengers: Infinity War, 2018, and its follow-up Avengers: Endgame, 2019, which were filmed back-to-back. 75 The pictures each earned more than $2 billion. 76, and Endgame briefly became the highest-grossing film of all time. B. Holland followed with the sequel Spider-Man: Far From Home, 2019, which widely received positive reviews and became the first Spider-Man film to earn $1 billion. 78-79 finishing as the fourth highest grosser of 2019. 80 Ben Travis of Empire magazine found Holland a note-perfect Spider-Man, still funnier and more believably teenage than Maguire and Garfield, who previously portrayed the character. Travis wrote, "Holland never loses the ebullient spark that makes him one of the MCU's most endearing figures." 81. Holland received a third consecutive Saturn Award for Best Performance by a Younger Actor for Far From Home, having previously won for Civil War and Homecoming. 82 He voiced roles in the Blue Sky Studios animation Spies in Disguise, 2019, 83 the live-action film Dolittle, 2020, and the Pixar animated film Onward, 2020. The last two were with his MCU co-stars Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Pratt, respectively. 84-85 Made on lucrative budgets, All three films underperformed at the box office. 86. Tom Holland looking to his right while raising his left hand and holding his fist. Holland at an event for Spider-Man: Far From Home in 2019. Alongside Avengers co-star Sebastian Stan, Holland starred in Antonio Campos's The Devil All the Time, 2020, a Netflix psychological thriller set after World War II. Holland said he initially worried that he lacked the depth to play a young orphaned man who goes on a killing spree, and was scared and nervous on his first day on set. Encouraged by Campos, he ultimately enjoyed playing the part, although it took a temporary toll on his mental health. 87. Campos praised Holland's effort to learn Southern American English for the role, described his acting process as methodical, thoughtful, and sensitive. 88 and called him a kind person. 88. Critics from IndieWire and Roger Ebert's website opined that despite the film's failed script, Holland gave a convincing performance and showed his range as an actor. 89. By November 2020, the film was the 22nd most watched straight-to-streaming title of the year, according to a Variety report. 91. Holland starred in 3 films that were released in 2021. His first, the crime drama Cherry, is based on the 2018 novel by American author Nico Walker, and reunited him with Avengers directors Russo brothers. 92. He played a college student with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, after enlisting in the Army, and robs banks to finance his drug addiction. In preparation for the role, Holland shaved his head and interviewed military veterans undergoing treatments for substance abuse and PTSD. 30. He also lost 30 pounds, 14 kilograms, of weight, then regained it after filming. 93. The film was released in cinemas in February and digitally on Apple TV Plus in March. 94. Consensus among critics was that the film enabled Holland to broaden his horizons as an actor, but it had a formulaic story. 95. This was echoed by Owen Gleiberman of Variety, who further noted that Holland proved his skills as an actor and demonstrated a range of indulgent looks and moods. 96. Holland next played alongside Daisy Ridley as a young man living on a planet called New World in Chaos Walking, an adaptation of Patrick Ness's best-selling science fiction series of the same name. The film was delayed due to several reshoots in early 2019, which added $15 million to its budget, bringing its cost to $100 million. 97. Chaos Walking failed to recoup its budget and received poor reviews. 98. 99. David Rooney of The Hollywood Reporter found the chemistry between Holland and Ridley lackluster, and Christian Holub of Entertainment Weekly noted his failed attempt to break away from roles similar to Spider-Man. 100. 101. In November 2021, Holland voiced Percy Pig in a series of advertisements for Marks & Spencer's Christmas food specials. 102. The following month, Holland reprised his role as Peter Parker in the sequel Spider-Man: No Way Home. 103. After taking on mature roles in films like Cherry, Holland noted that he found it strange adjusting back to playing Parker, chiefly due to raising his voice pitch and returning to the mindset of a naive, charming teenager. 104. He described No Way Home as the most ambitious standalone superhero movie ever made. 30. Despite its release during the COVID-19 pandemic, No Way Home quickly emerged as the highest-grossing film of 2021 and the 6th highest-grossing film of all time. It also became the first film since 2019 Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker to earn more than $1 billion at the box office. 105. No Way Home became the highest-rated Spider-Man film on the online database IMDb and the review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes. 106. Wendy Ide of The Guardian wrote that the film delivers an overflowing, funnel web cornucopia of treats for Spider fans and attributed Parker's continuing appeal to his endearing, puppyish enthusiasm. 107. The Times' Kevin Marr opined that Holland owns every inch of the role and casts his web and captures your heart. 108. 2022, present, established actor and career expansion. Discussing his future as Spider-Man after No Way Home, Holland told GQ in 2021 that he was doubtful about reprising the role, especially after he turns 30 in 2026. He expressed a desire to see a live-action Spider-Man film with Miles Morales as the protagonist, whereas Amy Pascal spoke of wanting Holland to continue playing the role. Holland began the following year with an investment in Dogpound Jim's 109 and a starring role as a young Nathan Drake, a charismatic fortune hunter, in the film adaptation of Naughty Dog's Uncharted video game series. 110 In preparation for scenes where his character is bartending, Holland worked shifts at the Chiltern Firehouse, a pub in London. Though the filming was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Holland continued to eat and train for the role. While Uncharted polarist critics, Rebecca Rubin of Variety wrote that Holland's star power likely contributed to its box office success. 111 In a mixed review for his performance, Brian Tallarico of Roger Ebert's website labeled him miscast, writing that Holland has the agility but quite simply lacks the weight and world weariness needed for the role. 113. Holland next executive produced and starred in the Apple TV Plus miniseries The Crowded Room, 2023, inspired by the 1981 nonfiction novel The Minds of Billy Milligan, in which he played a character based on Billy Milligan. 114 It was met with negative reviews. 115 San Francisco Chronicle's Bob Strauss dismissed it as another one of Tom Holland's serious projects that's hard to take seriously. 116 Nevertheless, he earned a nomination for the Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Actor in a Movie/Miniseries. 117 Holland said that the role proved to be too emotionally taxing for him, and that he would take a year off work to recover. 118 He made a return to the stage as Romeo in Jamie Lloyd's West End revival of Romeo and Juliet, which ran for 12 weeks from May 2024. 119 Critics had mixed opinions on the play and Holland's performance. 120 In 2024, Holland created his own production company, named Billy 17, and landed a deal with Sony Pictures. 121 Among his upcoming films, he will star in Christopher Nolan's film The Odyssey, an adaptation of the epic poem The Odyssey, written by Homer. 122 123 124 In 2025, Holland called the film the best experience of his career up to that point. He stated, "I couldn't have asked for a better job. And I'm so proud of the work I've done. I came to work every day with a real sense of purpose and a point to prove, and I'm so grateful for Chris to have given me that opportunity." 125 Holland will then star in the fourth Spider-Man film, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. 126 In September 2025, Holland was briefly hospitalized after sustaining a concussion while filming Spider-Man: Brand New Day, leading to a temporary pause in production. 127 Public image. Tom Holland is looking directly towards the camera. Holland in an interview with MTV in 2018. Nadia Kamamai of The Guardian said that Holland's cheeky British charm, vulnerability, and wit has made him the object of infatuation on the internet. 13 Jonathan Dean of the Sunday Times considered him to be poised and professional, but also so confident and personable, and took note of his maturity despite boyish wiriness. 17 German actor Sonki Moring, his co-star from The Impossible, similarly remarked on his professionalism, adding, "He is blessed with a deep soul, down to earth, very polite and a friendly kid." 13 Kevin MacDonald, who directed Holland in How I Live Now, praised him as confident, articulate, and enthusiastic, and attributed Holland's success to his positive energy. 13 When asked about the secret to his success, Holland said he believes in avoiding trouble and working hard. 64 Holland appeared on Screen International's UK Stars of Tomorrow, 2012, 128 and The Hollywood Reporter's Next Gen 2015, a list of promising newcomers in film. 129 In 2019, he featured on Forbes 30 Under 30 Europe, a list of influential people under 30 years 130, and Insider Incorporated's 45 young stars who will one day rule Hollywood. 131 after appearing on Glamour's Hot, Young and British Actors 2020, 132 he was named among the best actors under 30 by Tuco 133 and Complex Networks in 2021. 134 in the former listing, Ryan Mutuku described him as a darling to the English media because of his openness and willingness to also give interviews not related to film promotions. 133 calling him his generation's biggest leading man in 2021, GQ's Oliver Franklin Wallace wrote, Holland has ascended to a tier of stardom few actors ever reach, and rarely so young. One Variety editors Brent Lang and Rebecca Rubin reported in December 2021 that after the success of the Spider-Man films, Holland could become a top-paid actor in the future. They noted the current lack of young leading men in Hollywood and saw Holland's potential to herald a new generation of successful actors. 135 Holland is the 14th highest grossing film actor in the world. His films have grossed more than $9.9 billion worldwide according to the numbers. 136. Holland considers himself to be an impossible people-pleaser, one which according to Olivia Singh of Business Insider has resulted in his facing burnout and an incident where he vomited after a press conference. 137 A self-admittedly indiscreet person, Holland has gained a reputation for inadvertently spoiling important plot elements of his films during interviews and press conferences. 138 His MCU co-stars labeled him the least trustworthy cast member in terms of spoilers. 139 To prevent an incident, he only read parts of Captain America, Civil War's script. 138 Joe Russo similarly avoided giving Holland the script to Avengers, Endgame, and Holland knew only his lines. 140. Holland has expressed his views on the film industry. In a 2019 interview with the Sunday Times, he spoke for more representation of racial minorities and the LGBT community in film. 17 That year, when filmmaker Martin Scorsese criticized Marvel films for their lack of portraying human emotions, Holland highlighted that Scorsese has never made one, so he may not fully understand the experience. Holland stated that the key difference between a Marvel film and an award-winning one is budget, not the artistic process. He emphasized that Marvel films are still real art and noted that comparing Marvel blockbusters to independent films is unfair, as they reach vastly different audiences. 141. Personal life. Holland describes himself as a private person and is reluctant to discuss his personal life. 1 He has also discussed having frequent episodes of sleepwalking and sleep paralysis, nightmares of paparazzi in his bedroom. 142 He is a fan of the professional football club Tottenham Hotspur. 143. He had been in a relationship with his Spider-Man co-star, Zendaya, for some time before publicly acknowledging it in November 2021. He later discussed that he felt that the consistent media attention it received breached their privacy. 1 The couple moved into a £3 million home in London together in 2023. 144 They became engaged in December 2024. 145 146. After feeling dependent on alcohol in social situations, he has been a teetotaler since participating in Dry January in 2022. 147 In October 2024, Holland launched Barrow, a low-alcohol beer brand. 148 149 150 Holland stated in a 2025 interview that he has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Christopher Michael Pratt, born June 21, 1979, is an American actor and film producer. His films as a leading actor have grossed over $14.1 billion worldwide, making him one of the highest-grossing film stars of all time. Pratt was one of the world's highest-paid actors annually from 2015 to 2017. Through starring in blockbuster franchises and big-budget films, he has established himself as one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. Born in the city of Virginia, Minnesota, Pratt began his film career with minor roles before securing a starring role in the drama series Everwood, 2002 to 2006. He had his breakthrough role as Andy Dwyer in the NBC sitcom Parks and Recreation, 2009 to 2015. Pratt received global recognition and established himself as a leading actor by portraying Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy film franchise, appearing in a series of superhero films spanning from Guardians of the Galaxy, 2014, to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 2023. He also reprises the role in other Marvel Cinematic Universe films, such as Avengers, Infinity War, 2018, Avengers, Endgame, 2019, and Thor, Love and Thunder, 2022. Pratt achieved further critical and commercial success by portraying Owen Grady in the Jurassic World franchise, 2015 to 2022, which consists of 3 films that have collectively grossed over $3.9 billion worldwide. His other starring roles include the Western action film The Magnificent Seven, 2016, the science fiction film Passengers, 2016, the military science fiction action film The Tomorrow War, 2021, and the science fiction adventure film The Electric State, 2025. Pratt has also voiced characters in animated films like the Lego Movie franchise, 2014 to 2019, Onward, 2020, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023, and the Garfield Movie, 2024. Pratt was named by Time as one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2015, and appeared in Forbes Celebrity 100 in 2016. Often regarded as a sex symbol, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2017. Divorced from actress Anna Faris, Pratt has been married to author Katherine Schwarzenegger since 2019. He has 4 children, 1 with Faris and 3 with Schwarzenegger. Since February 2020, Pratt has owned the production company Indivisible Productions. Its first project, The Terminal List, helped him become one of the highest paid television actors, earning $1.4 million per episode. Early life and education. Exterior of Lake Stevens High School. Lake Stevens High School, pictured in 2020, which Pratt attended. Christopher Michael Pratt I was born in the city of Virginia, Minnesota, on June 21, 1979. 3 for his mother, Kathleen Louise Kathy, née Indle, worked at a Safeway supermarket, while his father, Daniel Clifton Pratt, held various jobs, including mining and home remodeling. 5, 6, 7 He has 2 older siblings, a sister, Angie, and a brother, Daniel Cully Pratt. 8, 9 Pratt has cited his brother Cully as one of his biggest influences and credits him as the reason he started acting. 10 When Pratt was 2 or 3 years old, his father uprooted the family to Anchorage, Alaska, where they lived for the next few years. 6, 11, 12 Concerned that raising children in Alaska was too dangerous due to the presence of bears, the family entered a period of instability, relocating between 20 homes across the United States in search of job opportunities. 13. When Pratt was 6 or 7 years old, the family eventually settled in the Seattle suburb of Lake Stevens, Washington. 13, 14 In an interview with the Huffington Post, Pratt recalled a family vacation on a cruise where he and his brother entered a dance competition, earning him a 3rd-place prize. 15, 16 As a child, he frequently danced to hip-hop music, the dance drama film Saturday Night Fever, 1977, and Michael Jackson. 15 Pratt was a frequent reader of comic books, having once won $300 in a bingo tournament and spending it all on comics. 17, 18 He once shared with the Los Angeles Times that his home featured a lot of art, saying, "I would try to copy these exceptional artists who could just draw male and female figures," and recalled that the walls were covered in comic book-style murals. 19 As a teenager, Pratt showed an interest in music, listening to pop musicians like the Beatles and rappers like Tupac Shakur and Mos Def. He has cited Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash as his biggest musical influences. 20. Around this time he began playing the guitar. 21. Pratt finished 5th in a state wrestling tournament during high school and competed in shot put on the track and field team. 5:22:23. Reflecting on that time, he recalled telling his wrestling coach, "I don't know what I want to do, but I know I'll be famous and I'll make a shit ton of money." 24. He added, "I had no idea how. I'd done nothing proactive." 25. He graduated from Lake Stevens High School in 1997. 26. Pratt dropped out of community college midway through his first semester and took on various jobs, including selling discount tickets and briefly working as a daytime stripper. 27. He eventually found himself homeless in Maui, Hawaii, living out of a van and a tent on the beach. 28-29. Retrospectively, he told The Independent, "It's a pretty awesome place to be homeless. We just drank and smoked weed and worked minimal hours, just enough to cover gas, food, and fishing supplies." 30. While in Maui, he also worked with the Christian missionary group Jews for Jesus. 31. Career. 2000 to 2013, early roles and breakthrough. Pratt smiling behind a microphone. Pratt at the 2013 San Diego Comic-Con International. At 19 years old, while working as a waiter at the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company in Maui, Pratt was discovered by actress and director Rae Dawn Chong. Impressed by his charisma, she cast him in her directorial debut, a short horror film titled Cursed Part 3, 2000, in which he played Devon. 32-33-34. According to Chong, Pratt arrived on set early and completely prepared, and his performance blew everyone away. 35. Pratt credits Cursed Part 3 with teaching him the fundamentals of acting, stating that he has no regrets about getting his start in the film. 36-37. Pratt's first regular television role was as Harold Brighton Bright Abbott in the series Everwood, 2002 to 2006. 38-39. In the 4th season of the teen drama television series The OC, 2006 to 2007, Pratt portrayed the activist Winchester Che Cook. 40-41. Pratt then portrayed Barry Wesley's, James McAvoy, co-worker and unfaithful best friend in the action thriller film Wanted, 2008, and played Bobby in the comedy Wieners, 2008. 42-43. He played the fiancée of Emma, Anne Hathaway, in the romantic comedy Bride Wars, 2009, 39-44. The officer Roman Duda in the horror comedy Jennifer's Body, 2009, 45-46. And the leading man role of Lester Watts in the romantic comedy Deep in the Valley, 2009. 47-48. The latter marked his first leading role in a comedy film. 49. In 2009, Pratt began portraying Andy Dwyer on the NBC comedy series Parks and Recreation, a role he played until 2015. 50-51. The role was initially intended as temporary, but Pratt's performance impressed the producers so much that they made him a series regular. 52-53. The role ultimately became his breakthrough. 3. Pratt played Oakland Athletics first baseman and catcher Scott Hatteberg in the biographical sports drama film Moneyball, 2011. 54-55. Initially, he was told he was too overweight for the role, which he credited to the cooking of his then-girlfriend, actress Anna Faris. 56-57. Determined to land the part, Pratt committed to a strict workout routine while keeping tabs on the casting process, eventually shedding 30 pounds, 14 kilograms, within 3 months. 58. Once he felt physically ready, he sent a photo to the casting director and secured the role. 5. In Moneyball, he took on a dramatic role as a downcast baseball player and devoted father, grappling with the fear that his career was over while facing the challenging transition to a new defensive position. 5:59. He regained the weight he had previously lost for his role in the high school reunion comedy 10 Years, 2011, then shed it once more to portray a Navy SEAL in Zero Dark 30, 2012. 5. In 2012, Pratt starred in Nicholas Stoller's romantic comedy The 5-Year Engagement. 60. The film received mixed reviews. 61. Critic David Adelstein from Vulture stated that he had enough sweetness to compensate for his character's adolescent japs. 62. He later played the minor roles of Brett and Paul in the 2013 films Delivery Man and Her, respectively. 63-64. 2014 to 2018, worldwide recognition and blockbuster films. Pratt sternly looking to his right. Pratt at the 2016 San Diego Comic-Con International. After previously being known primarily for supporting roles, in 2014, Pratt took on leading roles in 2 major studio films. 5. In June 2012, he was cast as Emmett Brokowski in the animated adventure comedy The Lego Movie, 2014. He portrayed a construction worker who must stop a tyrannical businessman from gluing the Lego universe into his own rigid vision of perfection. 65, 66, 67. The film was both a critical and commercial success, receiving predominantly positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and earning $470.7 million at the global box office. 68, 69. His other major role in 2014 was portraying Peter Quill, also known as Star-Lord, a spacefaring mercenary who was abducted from Earth as a child and raised by a group of alien thieves and smugglers called the Ravagers in Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy. 70, 71, 72. Pratt initially declined the role of Star-Lord, expressing concern about experiencing another Captain Kirk or Avatar moment, referencing previous humbling audition experiences for those roles. 573. However, casting director Sarah Finn recommended him to director James Gunn, who had been struggling to cast the part and initially dismissed the idea. Finn arranged a meeting between the two, during which Gunn became convinced that Pratt was the ideal choice for the role. 74-75. Guardians of the Galaxy ranked as the 3rd highest grossing film of 2014, with a total revenue of $773.3 million. 76-77. The role was included in a multi-film contract that Pratt signed with Marvel Studios. 78. Bruce Dionis of The New Yorker liked his charisma and his love for 70s music, which is so full of goodwill that he buoys the film. 79. In November 2013, Pratt, an enthusiastic fan of Jurassic Park, 1993, which he has described as "My Star Wars," was cast as Owen Grady in the science fiction film Jurassic World, 2015, the 4th installment of the Jurassic Park film franchise. 80-81. In preparation for the role, Pratt engaged in various workouts: P90X, running, swimming, boxing, and kickboxing, and increased his caloric intake to 4,000 calories daily. 82. Jurassic World was a commercial success, grossing $1.67 billion worldwide, making it the 3rd highest grossing film of all time upon release and the 2nd highest grossing film of 2015. 83, 84, 85. Alongside Denzel Washington, Pratt starred as Josh Faraday, a gambler and cowboy, in the action film The Magnificent Seven, 2016, a remake of the 1960 Western of the same name. 86-87. He later appeared in Passengers, 2016, a science fiction film released in December, co-starring Jennifer Lawrence. 88. He portrayed Jim Preston, a mechanic seeking to leave a world that no longer appears to value traditional, hands-on labor. 89. Passengers was a commercial success, grossing $304 million worldwide. 90. Pratt looking to his right while smiling. Pratt at the 2018 San Diego Comic-Con International. Pratt reprised his role as Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, 2017. 91. It became the 8th highest grossing film of 2017, having grossed $869 million on a $200 million budget. 92-93. He reprised his role again as Star-Lord as part of the ensemble cast in the Russo brothers' Avengers, Infinity War, 2018. 94-95. Pratt described his role in the film as a guest star appearance and said, "You get to be a little more vibrant, a little more irreverent, a little bit more colorful if you want it to be. 96 Several social media users referred to Star-Lord as the character responsible for sabotaging events in Infinity War. Pratt himself acknowledged the criticism, admitting as much in response to the widespread sentiment. 97, 98, 99 It grossed $2.052 billion, making it the highest-grossing film of 2018 and the fifth highest-grossing film of all time from release until it was surpassed in January 2023 by Avatar: The Way of Water, 2022. 101 He then reprised his role as Owen Grady in J.A. Bayona's Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, 2018. 102 One of the most expensive films ever made, it became the third highest grossing film of 2018, grossing $1.31 billion on a budget of $432 million, but received generally negative reception. 103. 2019, present, continued success and versatility. Pratt reprised his role as Emmett Burkowski in the Lego Movie 2, the second part, 2019, the sequel to the Lego Movie, 2014. 105 The film received generally positive reviews from critics, although the Rotten Tomatoes consensus noted that it isn't quite as much fun as its predecessor. 106 Despite the somewhat favorable critical reception, it underperformed at the box office. 107 108 In the Western The Kid, 2019, Pratt plays Grant Cutler, the villainous uncle of protagonist Rio Cutler. 109 Pratt subsequently reprised his role as Star-Lord in Avengers: Endgame, 2019, although he was not featured as part of the main ensemble cast. 72 Endgame was the highest-grossing film of all time until it was surpassed by Avatar, 2009, due to its 2021 re-release in China. 110 111. In February 2020, Pratt established his own production company, Indivisible Productions. 112 Its first project, The Terminal List, which stars Pratt and lists him as an executive producer, premiered on Amazon Prime Video in July 2022. 113 114 In March 2020, Pratt voiced one of the lead characters in the Disney and Pixar animated film Onward, alongside his Avengers co-star Tom Holland. 115 116 Pratt and Parks and Recreation announced the upcoming release of a new album based on Pratt's character Andy Dwyer in May 2021. 117 In June that same year, they officially released a pair of singles, The Pit and Two Birds Holding Hands, before releasing the album Mouse Rat, the Awesome Album, in August. 118 119 In the Tomorrow War, 2021, Pratt played the lead role of Dan Forrester, a science teacher who travels into the future to help humanity fight against an alien invasion. 120 The film received generally mixed reviews from critics. 121 As did Pratt's performance in the film. 122 123 124 He reprised his role as Owen Grady in Jurassic World Dominion, 2022, which became the third highest grossing film of the year, making just over $1 billion. 125 126 That same year, Pratt played Star-Lord in Thor: Love and Thunder, 2022, in a non-starring role. 127. Pratt voiced the main character Mario in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023. 128 Having grossed over $1.36 billion, it became the highest-grossing film based on a video game of all time and the second highest-grossing film of 2023. 129 130 131 He reprised the lead role of Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 2023, which grossed $845.6 million worldwide, becoming the fourth highest-grossing film of 2023. 132 133 Pratt voiced the titular cat in the animated comedy film The Garfield Movie, 2024, his only role of the year. 134 despite unfavorable critical response. 135, 136, 137 The film performed well at the box office. 138 In 2025, he starred in The Electric State alongside Millie Bobby Brown. 139 Made on a budget of $320 million, it is one of the most expensive films ever produced and Netflix's most expensive film of all time. 141 However, it was panned by critics. 142 Some thought that the budget was wasted. 143 144 While others were disappointed by the performances of the actors and direction of the Russo brothers. 145 146 Pratt will reprise the voice of Mario in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is scheduled for release in 2026. 147. Acting style and public image. Pratt to the left next to actress Elizabeth Banks on the right, both sitting down. Pratt and co-star Elizabeth Banks promoting the Lego Movie 2, the second part, 2019. Called one of Hollywood's biggest stars in 2018 by CNBC 27, Pratt is best known for his roles in action films. 148 149 Though he is also well known for his roles in comedies. 150 and dramas. 151 An A-list actor. 152 153 He has become one of the world's most bankable stars. 154 155 Through playing in big-budget, commercially successful films, often portraying charming and adventurous characters. 156 157 Having grown up with a strong appreciation for music. 18 Pratt often uses it as a tool to help him get into character. 47 He also uses physical transformations, like gaining or losing significant weight and working out intensely, to match the character's needs. 158 159 160 Some critics have taken issue with him for repeatedly playing similar characters across multiple films. 161 162 163 One such critic, paced writer Brianna Ziegler, thought that, in a 2023 review, Pratt lacks versatility, the skill to transition from comedy to drama, and any modicum of gravitas. 164 In 2017, Amy Nicholson of Slate dubbed him America's new sweetheart, criticizing his safe screen presence that lacked the depth and complexity necessary for his cinematic roles. 165 Other critics have thought otherwise. Screen Rant's Ben Gibbons praised Pratt for demonstrating his acting range across a variety of roles, from action heroes to lovable goofballs, noting that he consistently stands out and resonates with audiences. 166 The Guardian critic Alex Godfrey thought that with his mixture of brawn and earthy charm, Pratt is increasingly coming to resemble a more contemporary Hollywood star, Harrison Ford. 167 Since around the time he began portraying Star-Lord, Pratt has often been labeled as a sex symbol by the media. 168 169 170 People magazine placed him at number 2 on its list of the sexiest men alive in 2014. 171 172 In 2017, Variety's Janelle Riley described Pratt as one of the nicest guys in the business, a reputation the actor attributes to having good parents that raised me right. 173 However, the media began referring to him as the worst Chris around 2020, a label that emerged online as he was deemed the least likable among the group of Hollywood actors commonly known as the Hollywood Chris's: Evans, Hemsworth, Pine, and himself. 174 175 Pratt himself linked the backlash to his Generation Award acceptance speech at the 2018 MTV Movie and TV Awards, in which he stated, "God is real. God loves you. God wants the best for you." 175 TV Guide writer Caitlin Thomas described his public persona as a combination of his on-screen charisma and a degree of candor, which at times can be seen as controversial or problematic. 176 In 2015, Pratt appeared in the Time 100, a compilation of the 100 most influential people in the world, as selected annually by Time magazine. 178 that same year, Forbes ranked him as the 33rd highest paid actor globally, with earnings of $13 million. 179 in 2016, he appeared in the Celebrity 100 list, a compilation of the 100 most powerful public figures in the world, as selected annually by Forbes. 180 also in 2016, the magazine again listed him as the 16th highest paid actor in the world, with earnings of $26 million. 181 in 2017, Pratt was ranked the 19th highest paid actor, with earnings of $17 million. 182 according to the numbers, as of April 2025, his films as a leading actor have grossed over $14.1 billion worldwide, making him the 5th highest grossing box office film star and 3rd highest grossing male actor of all time. 183 including all roles, leading performances, cameos, and voice acting. His films have grossed a total of $15.8 billion worldwide. 183. Personal life. Chris Pratt in a dark gray suit standing next to Anna Faris, who is wearing a black dress. Pratt and his then-wife Anna Faris at the 2011 Toronto International Film Festival. In February 2007, while filming Take Me Home Tonight, 2011, Pratt met actress Anna Faris, who portrayed his love interest in the film. 185 The couple became engaged in late 2008 and married on July 9, 2009, in Bali, Indonesia, choosing to elope spontaneously following a friend's wedding. 186 Pratt and Faris resided in the Hollywood Hills area of Los Angeles. 187 Faris gave birth to their son in 2012, who was born 9 weeks premature, weighing just 3 pounds 12 ounces, 1.7 kilograms. 189 Pratt later shared that the experience had a profound impact on his faith, stating that he and Faris prayed a lot during the uncertain early days of their son's life. 191 Pratt and Faris announced their separation in August 2017. 193 He filed for divorce on December 1, 2017, citing irreconcilable differences and requesting joint custody of their son. 194 The divorce was finalized on October 31, 2018. 184 Pratt began dating author Katherine Schwarzenegger in June 2018, after being introduced by her mother, Maria Shriver. 196 On January 14, 2019, Pratt announced their engagement. 198 and the couple married on June 8, 2019, in Montecito, California. 199 They spent their honeymoon on the island of Lanai, Hawaii, staying at a luxury resort. 200 The couple has 3 children. Their first daughter was born in 2020, followed by their second daughter born in 2022, and a son in 2024. 202 Through his marriage to Schwarzenegger, Pratt became part of the extended Kennedy family. 204 In 2023, Pratt and Schwarzenegger acquired the Elwood Zimmerman House, an architecturally significant property located in Brentwood, California. The original structure was later demolished to make way for the construction of a larger residence. 205 Pratt was raised in the Lutheran faith and later worked with the organization Jews for Jesus. 207 Before identifying as a non-denominational Christian. 208 He attends Zoe Church in Los Angeles, which came under public scrutiny after actor Elliot Page criticized it for allegedly being anti-LGBTQ, citing the church's connection to a pastor formerly affiliated with Hillsong Church. 210 In response to the accusation, Pratt stated, It has recently been suggested that I belong to a church which hates a certain group of people and is infamously anti-LGBTQ. Nothing could be further from the truth. I go to a church that opens their doors to absolutely everyone. 211. Brian Houston, the founder of Hillsong Church, later clarified that Pratt had never been a member of their congregation. 212. Director James Gunn, known for Guardians of the Galaxy, 2014, also publicly defended Pratt, affirming that he was familiar with the church Pratt currently attends and criticizing those calling for the actor to be recast as Star-Lord. 213-214. In 2017, Pratt stated that he does not align himself with either side of the political spectrum and expressed a desire to promote unity through finding common ground. 215. In 2020, he and his wife, Catherine, became global ambassadors for the Special Olympics. 216. In 2024, Pratt wrote an op-ed on Maria Shriver's website, Sunday Paper, regarding the 2024 United States presidential election. In it, he emphasized unity over political allegiance and avoided endorsing either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. 217. Philanthropy. In 2015, Pratt and Ferris donated $1 million to a charity that provided eyeglasses to underprivileged children. The donation was allegedly inspired by Pratt's son, who was born premature and visually impaired. They also donated to the neonatal intensive care unit of the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles and supported March of Dimes, which works to end premature births, birth defects, and infant mortality. 218. That year, he and Chris Evans visited patients in the Seattle Children's Hospital after the two made a bet that eventually raised donations for the hospital as well as Christopher's Haven. 219. In December 2016, Pratt donated $500,000 to a teen center in his hometown of Lake Stevens, which was named in memory of his father. 220-221. In February 2021, Pratt donated $20,000 to fight hunger in South Carolina. The donation was part of a fundraiser by Pratt and an organization to raise $650,000 to fight food insecurity amidst the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States. Pratt also helped create the charity Feed Thy Neighbor, to which he donated $100,000. 222-223. Also in February 2021, he donated $10,000 to the Edmonds Food Bank as part of his organization and donated to the Edmonds Chamber of Commerce and Edmonds Waterfront Center in Washington State. 224. Acting credits and awards. Main article, list of roles and awards of Chris Pratt. According to review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes, Pratt's most acclaimed films include Moneyball, 2011, Zero Dark 30, 2012, Her, 2013, The Lego Movie, 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy, 2014, Onward, 2020, and the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, 2022. 225. His accolades include a Saturn Award, an MTV Movie Award, and an MTV Movie and TV Award. Julia Scarlett Elizabeth Louis Dreyfus, /Louis Draft /Louis E. Dreyfus, born January 13, 1961, is an American actress, comedian, and producer. She has gained acclaim for starring in a string of successful comedy series as well as several comedy films. She has received numerous accolades including 11 Primetime Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe Award, and 9 Screen Actors Guild Awards. Louis Dreyfus was born in New York City, the daughter of French billionaire Gerard Louis Dreyfus, and entered comedy as a performer with the Practical Theater Company in Chicago. She was a cast member on the sketch comedy series Saturday Night Live from 1982 to 1985. Her breakthrough came from 1990 to 1998 playing Elaine Benes on the NBC sitcom Seinfeld, which became one of the most critically and commercially successful sitcoms in television history. She earned acclaim for her roles as Christine Campbell on The New Adventures of Old Christine, 2006 to 2010, and Selena Meyer on Veep, 2012 to 2019. She has also guest starred on shows such as Arrested Development, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and 30 Rock. On film, Louis-Dreyfus has had leading film roles in the independent dramedies Enough Said, 2013, Downhill, 2020, You Hurt My Feelings, 2023, and Tuesday, 2023, with supporting film roles in comedy films such as Hannah and Her Sisters, 1986, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, 1989, Deconstructing Harry, 1997, and You People, 2023. Her voice acting work includes roles in the Disney animated films A Bug's Life, 1998, Planes, 2013, and Onward, 2020. Since 2021, she has played Valentina Allegra de Fontaine in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She is one of the most award-winning actors in American television history. She received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2010 and was inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame in 2014. She was named as one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world in 2016. She also received the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor in 2018 and the National Medal of Arts in 2021. 3-4. Early life and education. Julia Scarlett Elizabeth Louis-Dreyfus V was born in New York City on January 13, 1961. 6. Her mother, Judith, née Lefevre, is an American writer and special needs educator. 5. Her father, Gerard Louis-Dreyfus, 1932 to 2016, was a French billionaire who served as chairman of the Louis-Dreyfus Company. Her paternal grandfather, Pierre Louis-Dreyfus, 1908 to 2011, was president of the Louis-Dreyfus Group commodities and shipping conglomerate. 7. He came from a family of Alsatian Jews. 8. 9. And served as a cavalry officer and member of the French resistance during World War II. 10. Louis-Dreyfus is the great-great-granddaughter of French businessman Léopold Louis-Dreyfus, 1833 to 1915, founder of the Louis-Dreyfus Group, which members of her family still control. 11. She is the fifth cousin 4 times removed of Alfred Dreyfus, 1859 to 1935, of the infamous Dreyfus Affair. 12. 13. 14. Robert Louis-Dreyfus, 1946 to 2009, her father's second cousin, was the CEO of Adidas and owner of the soccer team Olympique de Marseille. 15. Julia's paternal grandmother was the daughter of a Brazilian Jewish father, whose family was Dutch, English, and Polish. 16. In 1962, a year after her birth, Louis-Dreyfus' parents divorced. She has said that she first noticed her penchant for comedy after sticking raisins up her nose at the age of 3, which first made her mother laugh but then led to an emergency hospital visit. 17. After moving to Washington, D.C., when Louis-Dreyfus was 4, her mother married L. Thompson Bowles, Dean of the George Washington University Medical School. 5. 18. Louis-Dreyfus gained a half-sister, Lauren Bowles, also an actress. Due to her stepfather's work with Project Hope, she spent her childhood in several U.S. states and countries such as Colombia, Sri Lanka, and Tunisia. 1920. In 1979, she graduated from the all-girls Holton Arms School in Bethesda, Maryland. 21. She later said of the school, "There were things I did in school that, had there been boys in the classroom, I would have been less motivated to do. For instance, I was president of the Honor Society." 22. Louis-Dreyfus graduated from Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois in 1983. 23-24, where she was a member of the Delta Gamma sorority. She studied theater and performed in the Meow Show, a student-run improv and sketch comedy revue, before dropping out during her junior year to take a job at Saturday Night Live. 25. In 2007, she received an honorary Doctor of Arts degree from Northwestern University. 26. Career. 1982 to 1989, early career and Saturday Night Live. Louis Dreyfus as a part of the Practical Theatre Company's Golden 50th Anniversary Jubilee in 1982, alongside castmates Brad Hall, Gary Kroeger, and Paul Barras. As part of her comedic training, Louis Dreyfus appeared in The Second City, one of the best-known improvisational theatre groups. It was her performance with the Practical Theatre Company at their Golden 50th Anniversary Jubilee that led to her being asked to join the cast of NBC's Saturday Night Live at the age of 21. Louis Dreyfus subsequently became a cast member on Saturday Night Live from 1982 to 1985, the youngest female cast member in the history of the program at that time. 27. It was during her third and final year on SNL that she met writer Larry David during his only year on the show. 28. David later co-created Seinfeld. 29. Louis Dreyfus has commented that her casting on SNL was a Cinderella getting to go to the ball kind of experience. 30. However, she has also admitted that at times it was often quite tense, stating that she didn't know how to navigate the waters of show business in general and specifically doing a live sketch comedy show. 31. Recurring characters on Saturday Night Live. April May June, a televangelist. Becky, El Dorcos, Gary Kroeger, Date. Consula, Chi Kai's friend and co-host of Let's Watch TV. Darla in SNL's parody of The Little Rascals. Weather Woman, a superhero who controls the weather. Patty Lynn Hunsucker, a teenage correspondent on Weekend Update. Following her 1985 departure from SNL, Louis Dreyfus appeared in several films, including Hannah and Her Sisters, 1986, by Woody Allen, Soul Man, 1986, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, 1989, in which she starred alongside fellow SNL alumnus Chevy Chase. In 1987, Louis Dreyfus appeared in the NBC sitcom pilot The Art of Being Nick, an intended spin-off from Family Ties starring Scott Valentine. When the pilot did not make it to series, Louis Dreyfus was retained by producer Gary David Goldberg for a role on his new sitcom Day by Day, as the sarcastic and materialistic neighbor, Eileen Swift. Premiering in early 1988, Day by Day aired for 2 seasons on NBC before being cancelled. 32. 1990 to 1998, Seinfeld and widespread recognition. Louis Dreyfus at the 47th Emmy Awards ceremony in September 1995. In the early 1990s, Louis Dreyfus became famous for the role of Elaine Benes on NBC's Seinfeld. She played the role for 9 seasons, appearing in all but 3 episodes. One of the episodes that she did not appear in was the pilot episode, The Seinfeld Chronicles, because her character was not initially intended to be a part of the series. It was only after the first episode that NBC executives felt the show was too male-centric and demanded that creators Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld add a woman to the cast. It was revealed in the commentary on the DVD package that the addition of a female character was the condition for commissioning the show. Louis Dreyfus won the role over several other actresses who also eventually enjoyed TV success, including Patricia Heaton and Megan Mullally. 33. On the Notes About Nothing featurette on the DVD package, Seinfeld says that Louis Dreyfus' ability to eat a peanut M&M without breaking the peanut described her, "She cracks you up without breaking your nuts." 34. Louis Dreyfus garnered critical acclaim for her performance on the series, and she was a regular winner and nominee at television award shows throughout the 1990s. Her performance earned her 2 Golden Globe Award nominations, winning once in 1994, 9 Screen Actors Guild Award nominations, winning 1 in 1995 and 2 in both 1997 and 1998, and 7 American Comedy Awards, winning 5 times in 1993, 1994, 1995, 1997, and 1998. In 1996, she won the Primetime Emmy Award 35 for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, an award she was nominated for on 7 occasions from 1992 to 1998. After receiving the award, Louis Dreyfus said the win was a shocker, and that after being in both positions, it was much better to win than to lose. 36. In 1998, Jerry Seinfeld decided to end the series after 9 seasons. The series finale aired on May 14 and was one of the most watched TV events in history, with over 76 million viewers tuning in. 37 During her time on Seinfeld, she appeared in several films, including the comedy films Father's Day, 1997, opposite Robin Williams and Billy Crystal, and Woody Allen's Deconstructing Harry, 1997. 1999 to 2004, post-Seinfeld. Following a voice role in the highly successful Pixar film A Bug's Life, 1998, Louis Dreyfus lent her voice as Snake's girlfriend Gloria in The Simpsons episode A Hunka Hunka Burns in Love. In 2001, she made several special guest appearances on Seinfeld co-creator Larry David's show Curb Your Enthusiasm, playing herself fictionally trying to break the curse by planning to star in a show in which she would play an actress affected by a Seinfeld-like curse. After several years away from a regular TV job, Louis Dreyfus began a new single-camera sitcom, Watching Ellie, which premiered on NBC in February 2002. The series was created by husband Brad Hall and co-starred Steve Carell and Louis Dreyfus' half-sister Lauren Bowles. The initial premise of the show was to present viewers with a slice of life from the goings-on and happenings of the life of Ellie Riggs, a Southern California jazz singer. The first season included a 22-minute countdown kept digitally in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, which many critics panned, claiming it was useless and did nothing for the show. 38. Overall, the show received mixed reviews but debuted strongly with over 16 million viewers tuning in for the series premiere, and maintained an average audience of about 10 million viewers per week. 39. When the series returned for a second season in the spring of 2003, it suffered a decline in viewership, averaging around 8 million viewers per week. The show had undergone a drastic stylistic change between the production of seasons 1 and 2. The first season was filmed in the single-camera format, but the second season was presented as a traditional multi-camera sitcom filmed in front of a live studio audience. 40 With dwindling viewership and failing to retain the numbers from its Frasier lead-in, the series was cancelled by NBC in May 2003. 41. Following NBC's cancellation of Watching Ellie, the media began circulating rumors of a so-called Seinfeld curse, which claimed that none of the former Seinfeld actors could ever achieve success again in the television industry. Louis Dreyfus dismissed the rumor as a made-up thing by the media. 40 While Seinfeld co-creator Larry David asserted that the curse was completely idiotic. 42. Louis Dreyfus was interested in the role of Susan Meyer on Desperate Housewives, the role that ultimately went to Terry Hatcher. 43 Instead, Louis Dreyfus scored a recurring guest role as Maggie Lizer, the deceitful prosecutor and love interest of Michael Bluth on the Emmy-winning comedy Arrested Development, from 2004 to 2005. 44. 2005 to 2010, The New Adventures of Old Christine. Louis Dreyfus representing her role from The New Adventures of Old Christine at the Museum of Television and Radio in April 2007. In 2005, Louis Dreyfus was cast in the title role of a new CBS sitcom, The New Adventures of Old Christine. 45 The series and its concept were created by writer and producer of Will and Grace, Carrie Lizer. The series told the story of Christine Campbell, a single mother who manages to maintain a fantastic relationship with her ex-husband while running a women's gym. The series debuted on CBS in March 2006 to an audience of 15 million and was initially a ratings winner for the network. 46. Louis Dreyfus received considerable critical acclaim for her performance on the show, with Brian Lowry of Variety stating that Louis Dreyfus broke the so-called Seinfeld curse, with one of the best conventional half-hours to come along in a while. 47. Alessandra Stanley from the New York Times asserted that Louis Dreyfus' performance on the series proved she is one of the funniest women on network television. 48. Louis Dreyfus also earned the 2006 Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series for her performance in the first season. Referring to the curse, she stated in her acceptance speech, "I'm not somebody who really believes in curses, but curse this, baby." 5. Throughout the course of the series, she received 5 consecutive Emmy Award nominations, 3 consecutive Satellite Award nominations, 2 Screen Actors Guild Award nominations, and a nomination for a Golden Globe Award. In 2007, she also received 2 nominations for a People's Choice Award due to her return to popularity, thanks to the success of Old Christine. In May 2006, Louis-Dreyfus hosted an episode of Saturday Night Live, becoming the first female former cast member to return to the show as a host. 31 in the episode, she appeared with her Seinfeld co-stars Jason Alexander and Jerry Seinfeld in her opening monologue, parodying the so-called Seinfeld curse. 49 After a successful reception of her 2006 episode, Louis-Dreyfus again hosted SNL on March 17, 2007, and April 17, 2016. Louis-Dreyfus reprised her role as Gloria in 2 Simpsons episodes, 2007's I Don't Wanna Know Why the Caged Bird Sings and 2008's Sex, Pies, and Idiot Scrapes. In the fall of 2009, she appeared with the rest of the cast of Seinfeld in 4 episodes of the 7th season of Larry David's sitcom Curb Your Enthusiasm. The reunion shows received much media attention, and the episode received strong ratings for the series. 50. Louis-Dreyfus at the unveiling of her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in May 2010. In 2009, Louis-Dreyfus was granted the honorary award for Legacy of Laughter at the TV Land Awards. Previous winners had included Lucille Ball and Mike Myers. She was presented with the award by friend Amy Poehler. The following year, Louis-Dreyfus received the 2,407th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on May 4, 2010, for her remarkable contribution to the broadcast television industry as both an actress and a comedian. Originally, the star was set with Louis-Dreyfus' name spelled incorrectly. It was missing both the O and the hyphen in her last name. 51 The star was corrected and the misspelled portion was removed and presented to her. 52 Celebrity guests at the event included past and current colleagues from throughout her career, including Clark Gregg, Larry David, Eric McCormack, and Jason Alexander. Old Christine was cancelled by CBS on May 18, 2010, after 5 years. 53 discussions were held with ABC to revive the show, but the show was never revived. 54 In the spring of 2010, Louis-Dreyfus guest starred several times in the 3rd season of the web series Web Therapy, starring Lisa Kudrow. Louis-Dreyfus played the sister of the main character, Fiona Wallace, who gives her therapy online. When the series made the transition to cable television on the Showtime network, Louis-Dreyfus' appearance from the web series was included in the 2nd season, airing in July 2012. 55 In fall 2010, Louis-Dreyfus made a guest appearance on the live episode of 30 Rock, playing Tina Fey's role of Liz Lemon in the cutaway shots. Louis-Dreyfus was among several Saturday Night Live alumni appearing in the episode, including Rachel Dratch, Bill Hader, and regulars Tracy Morgan and Faye herself. Louis-Dreyfus also starred in a Women of SNL special on November 1, 2010, on NBC. 2011 to 2019, Veep and Acclaim. In May and June 2011, Louis-Dreyfus teamed up with husband Brad Hall for her first short film, Picture Paris. This was the first time the couple had collaborated since their early 2000s NBC comedy Watching Ellie. Hall wrote and directed the film, while Louis-Dreyfus played the lead role of an ordinary woman with an extraordinary obsession with the city of Paris. The film premiered on January 29, 2012, at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, and has received considerable critical acclaim. 56 It made its television premiere on HBO on December 17, 2012. 57. Louis-Dreyfus with then Vice President Joe Biden in April 2013. In early 2011, HBO confirmed that Louis-Dreyfus had been cast in the lead role of U.S. Vice President Selina Meyer in a new satirical comedy series titled Veep. The series was commissioned for a first season of 8 episodes. In addition to her starring role, Louis-Dreyfus would also be a producer. 58 In preparation for her role, Louis-Dreyfus spoke with Al Gore and another former vice president, 59 senators, speechwriters, chiefs of staffs of various offices, and schedulers. 28 Louis-Dreyfus commended HBO for allowing the cast and crew to engage in a protracted pre-production process, which included a 6-week rehearsal period before filming began. 60. The first season was filmed in the fall of 2011, in Baltimore, and the series premiered on April 22, 2012. 61 The premiere episode was met with high praise from critics, particularly for Louis-Dreyfus' performance. The Hollywood Reporter asserted the character of Selina Meyer was her best post-Seinfeld role to date and claimed she gives an Emmy-worthy effort. 62 While the Los Angeles Times contended the series demonstrates she is one of the medium's great comedians. 63. Following the success of the first season, Louis-Dreyfus was named by the Huffington Post as one of the funniest people of 2012, asserting that she is the most magnetic and naturally funny woman on TV since Mary Tyler Moore. 64. Louis-Dreyfus, after receiving her third Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series for Veep in August 2014. For her performance on Veep, Louis-Dreyfus received several accolades, most notably 7 nominations for the Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series between 2012 and 2019, winning the award 6 times. 65 These Emmy wins for Veep, following previous wins for Seinfeld and The New Adventures of Old Christine, resulted in her becoming the only woman to win an acting award for 3 separate comedy series. 66 Her 6th win in 2016 surpassed the record previously held by Mary Tyler Moore and Candice Bergen for the most wins in that category. 67 In 2017, her 6th consecutive win, and 8th acting win, overall made her the performer with the most Emmys for the same role in the same series, surpassing Candice Bergen and Don Knotts, and put her in a tie with Cloris Leachman for the most Emmys ever won by a performer. 68 She was also nominated as one of the producers for Veep in the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Comedy Series category for all 7 seasons, winning the award in 2015, 2016 and 2017 for the 4th, 5th and 6th seasons respectively. 69 Louis-Dreyfus also received 5 Critics' Choice Television Award nominations, winning twice in 2013 and 2014. 10 Screen Actors Guild Award nominations, winning twice in 2014 and 2017, and 5 Television Critics Association Award nominations, winning once in 2014. Her performance additionally garnered her 5 Satellite Award nominations and 5 consecutive Golden Globe Award nominations. Louis-Dreyfus with her colleague Timothy Simons accepting the Peabody Award for Veep from Al Franken in May 2017. Louis-Dreyfus lent her voice to the 2013 animated film Planes, in the role of Rochelle. To date, the film has grossed well over $200 million at the box office worldwide. 70 She also starred in the film Enough Said, directed by Nicole Holofcener, which was released on September 18, 2013. 71 This marked her debut as a lead actress in a full-length feature film. The film garnered rave reviews from film critics, ranking among the best-reviewed films of 2013. The website Rotten Tomatoes gives the film a score of 96% based on 152 reviews, many of them praising Louis-Dreyfus' performance. 72 She received several Best Actress nominations including for the Golden Globe Awards and the Critics' Choice Movie Awards. Another review aggregation website, Metacritic, gave the film a score of 78 out of 100, based on 44 critics, signifying generally favorable reviews. Since December 2014, Louis-Dreyfus has appeared in a series of television commercials for Old Navy. 73. In 2015 she acted in the Comedy Central sketch series Inside Amy Schumer alongside Tina Fey and Patricia Arquette, playing a version of themselves giving advice on aging to Amy Schumer. Dreyfuss said of the experience, "I started to feel unbelievably paranoid that I was making fun of myself and wondering, was this really happening to me? Like, how meta is this moment in my life? I started to have a kind of soul-searching crisis in the middle of the day. And I didn't know the other women well enough to bring it up, so I was just trying to be a good sport even though I was dying a little bit on the inside." 74. On April 16, 2016, she returned to Saturday Night Live serving as host for the third time with musical guest Nick Jonas. During the episode's cold open, she reprised her role of Elaine Benes from Seinfeld. 75-76. Since 2020, career expansion. Louis Dreyfus with Gladys Knight and Mindy Kaling in the White House in March 2023. In 2020, Louis Dreyfus headlined the comedy drama Downhill, opposite Will Ferrell. The film premiered at the 2020 Sundance Film Festival and was theatrically released on February 14. 77. Next, she voiced a suburban elf mother in Pixar's Onward opposite Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. The film was released on March 6, 2020. In January 2020, Louis Dreyfus signed a multi-year deal with Apple TV+. Under the deal, she will develop new projects for Apple TV+ as both an executive producer and star.